Hi and welcome back to Jim Builds, and today it's engine and gearbox prep, because what I want to do is get these back in. But before I do, I want to make them look a bit better because they're a bit bashed up, not looking the best, and quite honestly I just want them to look nice. So I'm going to start off with the gearbox, because what I need to do is cover the starter motor pinion, and what I'm going to cover it with is some heat shielding, mainly because this stuff is pretty malleable. It'll take the heat. All it needs to do is cover it, try and keep some of the road stuff off as best as I can, and yeah, that's kind of it. But I have to be careful because this stuff is razor sharp, as I've slashed myself several times with it already, which is not good. Blood is meant to stay in the body, remember that. So yeah, let's get going. I have made a prototype. I say prototype, this is the first version I made, and it looks a bit like I had a mental breakdown. Not my best attempt. So I'm going to try and make this again, but neater. Now I've figured out a bit about it. Yeah, so let's get going.
So this is just a degreaser that you'd use for painting. It seems to take up oil and all sorts of stuff. It's actually quite a useful thing. The paint I'm using is actually for alloy wheels, but it seems to do the job. Straightforward, just take everything off it. I'm sticking with British Racing Green. Weirdly, it's done that every time I've opened it. And now everything can go back on. So now I've painted the engine and the gearbox, and they're both looking great. Very happy with how they turned out. Next thing is really to put the brake line in and the fuel line. I need to do the brake line that goes from across the bulkhead to the near side front wheel, because that got clipped by the gearbox when I was putting it in the first time, and I tried to do it as one unit, which is my fault. I totally acknowledge that. And then I need to redo the front to back, because basically I've got to reroute it because of the gearbox mount. And again, I can neaten that up a little bit. So I figured now's the opportunity to do it. And it's the same for the fuel line. So I think we'll start off with the brake lines. I've just got to get some bits. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll start making them. So I finished the first one, and I'm really happy with how straight it is across the bulkhead, because over time I think it looked a little bit ropey. And I've already done a double flare on this length, because I think it's going to be much easier to do this one whilst I'm underneath. I've got the pipe bender with me, so I can do a couple of tight 90s should I need to. And yeah, I think we'll just do it in situ. It just makes more sense. So yeah, let's get cracking. So with the brake line done, it's now time for the fuel line, and at least I haven't got to swage them, because all I need is these fittings here. I've got a male thread piece on each end, and then we've got these, which are olives. So these will compress like this one here, and that will make everything fuel tight, and it seems to have worked in the past, so I've got no reason to doubt it. It's just 1/4 inch pipe and away you go. That's it. So let's get that finished. So the brake lines are now on, so is the fuel line. Everything's all tidied up, tightened up, and I'm happy with how it looks. I think I've actually done a better job this time than when I first did it, which is pretty good. The only thing I'm not doing right now is bleeding the brakes, because I need to order some more silicone brake fluid, because it seems to work well in the past. I've already used it, but I don't have enough to re-bleed them. So I'll get some ordered, and then I'll do that another time. But more importantly, that means the engine and gearbox can go back in. And I think I've got enough time between thunderstorms, so let's get on and do it.
With the engine in, the gearbox in, and the brake lines and the fuel lines all put in, I've got to bleed the brakes still. I think it's a really good point to end this. I feel really good. Like, I've got a lot of motivation to try and get everything else sorted now. But I'm going to tidy up a few things on the way. But it also means the engine crane can finally go back, because I only borrowed that in October for a few weeks, and it's now June. Anyway, I'll be back soon with some more stuff, hopefully a bit close to getting the Cortina driving again, but we shall see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.